9.7 FM. I'm your boy Olaiton Luatomwa, aka Tommy Rex, and this is a show where we talk about different kind of your phobia. It's a safe space where we talk about anxieties that we face on a regular basis, and we are going to be telling you a different topic today, which is the perfectionism trap, the fear of making mistake. And here with me, I have an amazing guest in the house, the person of Mr. Samuel Ogunyinka, aka Psalmist, an alumni of Mapoly. He was a former Abacus Liberian. My boss is my predecessor. Yeah, my predecessor. Yes, and basically, he's a spoken word artist. He has performed in many places and many events and all. Like, I'm so glad to have him in the house. So, Mr. Sam, can you just let us hear your voice, sir?
Good afternoon, everyone. Just like my boss right here already said, my name is Samuel Ogunyinka, Psalmist. It is nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Welcome to the show of Echoes of Fear with Tommy Rex. So, today's topic is the perfectionism trap, the fear of making mistake. So, recently you performed a powerful piece on this theme. I think Ajuwaya. So then now we want to ground some of these facts, like psychologically, we define perfectionism as a personality disposition characterized by striving for flawlessness and setting exceedingly high standards. That is, perfectionism is about where you're trying to be perfect, you set a standard that people look up to. So now, in other words, perfectionism holds themselves to unreasonable high standard. So at the same time, fear of failure, anticipating shame if we make mistake, is literally seen as a drive to avoid risks. So fear of making mistake. Have you ever have that fear of making mistake before?
Of course, yes. You know, when you're just doing something, there is always this thing that comes to you and be like, what if this thing works out? What if it doesn't work out?
Now wait, you are a poet.
Sure.
How do you script your this thing that you like, you understand now, those rhymes, bait, you understand? So now how does is it, where do you get the inspiration from that you don't even make mistakes sometimes, although you might not be perfect, but at least how do you do that?
I wouldn't say I don't make mistakes. I do.
Okay.
On a regular basis. One thing that I have got to realize is if you are trying to be perfect in everything you do, you won't get started.
Okay.
And another thing is the fact that you're making mistake means that you're actually doing something. If you sit there and you're not doing anything, you won't make any mistake.
Okay.
But even you not doing anything is a very, very big mistake that you're making. So writing poems or writing anything, writing articles or anything, there are mistakes.
Okay.
Of course, there are mistakes, and even when you're writing, you're rehearsing on your own, you may not make any mistake because you're speaking to the paper, you're speaking to your mirror and all.
Okay.
But I remember one of my performances. I went to perform in Abuja.
And you look back.
So it was a very big stage,
Okay.
right? It National Stadium,
Wow.
MPO Stadium. in
Wow,
Abuja.
also.
So I got there and I got overwhelmed. Of course, I got overwhelmed, and
Anxiety
that's-
sets in.
well, I wouldn't say anxiety yet. Yes, it is actually. Looking at the stage and looking at the people, I'm talking about a space that can contain 63,000 people.
Wow.
So and everybody's eyes is on
Oh
you.
yeah.
So you just look at the side, you're seeing yourself on a big projector, look at the left, the same thing and all. So there is this
Phobia. It's fear,
I wouldn't
of course.
call it phobia.
Okay.
Sometimes you get carried away with
Okay.
things you are seeing around
Look
you.
around. Okay.
So that day I had the chance of saying no, I'm not performing. Right. And because except if I want to lie to you, something in you will tell you, bro, sure go fuck off like
Yeah,
this.
that's the thing.
That is what we're talking about.
It's a
Something
trap,
in you will
perfectionism
tell-
trap.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're calling it a trap because it is starting telling you that, bro, you
I'm not
can't
enough.
do it though. Even if you do it,
You might not.
it won't work perfectly,
Hmm.
right? That's this thing. If I'm doing this thing, I won't do it right. So it's better for me not to even start at all. So there is no how you want to know if you're going to do it right, or you need to adjust or make changes if you do not even start at all. So that is how it works for me. Before I even leave my house every day, I look at
But I want to ask something. Because I'm also how will I put it now? I'm a public speaker.
Okay.
So, but I want to ask you that, like me now, I usually work with scripts. I work on scripts, and I usually like how will I put it now? I actually work on perfection. So now, like your other poems like Ajuwaya, Iyunade, Assalamualaikum in Jesus' name, Coronach, Survivor, Erinkare Ile, Erinkare Ile, okay, Erinkare Ile. So which of them have you feel like is not perfect enough that you feel like I should change some certain thing or certain perspective? Because I believe there are two sides to a coin. So there's some of your poem that you feel like, okay, I should have said it like this in this angle. I should have said it in this perspective. What have you ever faced that kind of situation before?
Always. While I was in school, I remember one of our friend classes.
Okay.
Dr. Tomoa.
Okay.
Was teaching us in class, and he said something. He said there is no perfect peace. Right.
There's no perfect peace.
Perfect peace.
Peace.
When you write something, you write. I don't know, but I think it happens to many of the creatives that I've seen over time. Even if I write something now, by the time I leave this place, if I'm reading it again, I'll be like,
it should not make sense to you, but your head, it will make sense. Oh, this thing makes sense. So
there is something I'm supposed to hide in this thing that it is not there and all. Okay, for example, just yesterday, there is a newspaper that's coming out. So I wrote a poem because it's actually a specialized paper.
Okay.
So I wrote a poem. I submitted it last night.
Okay.
Just last night. I woke up this morning and I was reading it again, and I'd be like, why didn't I just put this and that?
Yeah.
You understand? So if you are trying to say, okay, you want to make it perfect before you submit that kind of
you won't be able to meet deadline.
You won't meet deadline one. Even if you meet deadline, you will not want to submit it because you'll be like, this thing is not enough. There's always something to add. Writing poems like Erinkare Ile, like Ajuwaya, like Iyunade, like Which Way My Country and the rest of them. Which Way My Country, I think I released it 2018 or so.
Wow.
So I shot another video. I shot a video then. I shot another video last year. While I was shooting the video, I added another thing. I've had opportunities to perform Which Way My Country in different places, and there's always something to add. Even when I'm performing, even the things that I did not realize at home. Okay, for example, I got an invite to come perform Which Way My Country at the mega rally that we had in 2020, NSAS,
okay.
at NNPC. So I was called. Psalmist, we heard this thing, Which Way My Country, and I think it goes with this
the team of
what we're doing
and
all. And for them to call, they know that this is what the content is, right? It was the content they wanted, right? But me getting there, I had to put something in the front of the poem, and they were like,
how far?
What is happening? Until I got to where they
really want to hear.
They really wanted to hear, Which Way My Country start with okay, so the poem, I actually started it with even the way I even did it on that day. I can't even remember. So there is always something to add. That is just the gist. If you are waiting for you to perfect a piece as a writer or a poet, you are not going to finish it.
So now, I actually brought you to this program because I believe it's a skill. So there's a certain skill like graphic designing, video editing and all like that, and you feel like this thing you are doing is not enough. Have you ever given a graphic designer work that you feel like this thing, move, fair. It's not. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. I mean, but do you think sometimes some certain skills need some certain amount of how will I put it now? Perfection, or probably some it's what they call objectivity.
Okay.
So you might not really meet your own desire or expectation. So what do you think, or what are your advice for people that are actually into skills like you, not only for people writers?
Well, I like the sound of excellence than perfection.
Okay.
Right. Strive for excellence, not
Okay.
perfection.
Hmm.
If you're working for someone like me, bro, even before I can do some basic graphics, right? So even if I want to maybe give a design out to a designer,
Okay.
I already have my paper and pen.
Templates of what you want.
I sketch everything. Even at that, I'll still be like, but at the point you have to use something. So once you achieve what is called excellence,
Of course.
perfection is just part of it.
Well, it's interesting, but I have a point. So essentially, there are some anxiety issues by definition. A phobia is an anxiety disorder causing an irrational, overwhelming fear of something that isn't actually dangerous. And these kind of phobias are more common than most of people realize, because roughly about 1 to 10 adults and 1 to 5 teens will experience some specific phobia in their lives. In fact, about 12.5% of adults will have a specific phobia at some point. So about some mental health experts, they categorize phobia into a broad group, which is and I'd like you to come in with that. So we have some specific phobia, which is like the fear of spiders, of heights. That's because we've talked about different kind of phobias. We talk about fear of death, political phobia, talk about fear of not being enough, talk about imposter syndrome. So now, apart from types of phobia, we also have social phobia, like the fear of public speaking. And we believe every year in mass communication department, we usually do a public speaking competition. Now, students are not always like coming out to talk, and you have been one of the major panelists at the public speaking frequently. So, what are the things you feel that okay for them to do to work on the perfection on public speaking? Because the kind of phobia, like me now, I might prepare for something, and once I get to the place, I might just look at the different concepts and just feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. So, what do you think it is for people that are actually a public speaker?
Okay. I used to say this every time I had the opportunity to come to the Amapo's public speaking competition. Anytime I had the opportunity to judge the event, I used to tell my story. Right? If we want to judge based on what has happened, I'm not supposed to even be here. Not to talk of judging Amapo's public speaking for how many years now. So, the story that I do tell them is that same Amapo's public speaking competition. I have been there before.
Okay.
Right. I've been there before, and I wouldn't say I failed.
Okay.
Because even you admitting that you failed is part of the things that would not make you press forward. Right. I was disqualified at the initial stage, so I did not even I didn't meet up to the grand finale. And guess what? The second year, I don't know. I think I actually performed one of my poems, and
of course
someone gave me a plan and all. So it is just huge not to give up in anything you do. Rome was not built in a day.
Of course.
It is everywhere. Where we are now is the place of the beginning. So it is when you keep on striving. If there is something, have you never done an assignment before and you just after doing all the assignments you run it?
Of course.
Cancel everything and be like, no, this one. If I submit it, I'm going to go score 0. So it is just like that. I wouldn't say that it is bad to be afraid.
Even lecturers said they do device edition. So why be?
So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that it is bad to be afraid, but it is bad for you to let that fear conquer you.
All right,
It is just a process. Then definitely, if you do not give up, if there is anything to grow more. I used to tell people, I have a couple of friends, like I call them my friends, like that be like, Psalmist, how do you do this and that? Tell them, if you want to grow in writing,
of course.
Only two ways that I know is number one, for you to read, and number two, which I think is the most important thing, is for you to keep writing.
All right. Now, thank you very much for that. Still on, you said something earlier which I picked. You said the fear of making mistake can really hold you back, and I'm really interested in that because, as experts say, they said these fears are ultimately irrational. Making mistake is a normal part of learning. That is, if you don't make mistake, that means you're not learning. So, in fact, there's a research that noted that perfectionism has the root of problems, and anxiety and low self-esteem. That is, perfectionism. We have this kind of um, for it to be perfect, we have to make mistake. So if the person that discovered a bulb, if he doesn't make mistake, I think they said he made mistake about 100 times. If he doesn't make mistake, he won't be able to realize that, okay, this is what I did not put here, this is what I did not put here, to make it perfect, even though it's not still perfect. Some people are still doing, before he did electricity bulb, and people are doing solar bulb. So learning is a continual process, just like the way they say. So before we round up the show, I'd like to ask you a personal experience. So now, if I had say mistake and feedback, that is, we all know that we said earlier that mistake, learning perfectionism, you have to make a mistake before it can be perfect. So now, if you say mistake and feedback, not failures, every artist or achievers know that God doesn't demand perfectionism from us. So now, it desires growth and learning, even in flaws. It taught me creativity. So when you stumble, remember each mistake is a step forward. So now, I'd like to ask you now: have you ever feel kind of fear before, like a fear of being perfect? Have you ever feel? I know you said earlier that you've once had a show that you feel like, okay, you're not enough. So personally now, like before you became a poet, at least there's what they call ideation stage. That, okay, this is what I feel like I'm good at. So now, have you ever had fear of trying? Now, actually, before you started talking, or before you started inviting you to events, have you had the fear of trying that, more? If I say that I'm a poet and then they come into a show and I don't come deliver, like I don't give back the exact expectation they actually desire. So what's
Well, yes, of course. When I started writing, when I used to post all of my poems on Facebook, and I would be saying 1 like, 2 likes, 3 likes, and the rest of the things. During that time, I would sit and ask myself, this thing that you're doing, is anybody even reading you?
Is it relevant?
Is it even relevant? Does it have something that does it make sense at all? So that fear of, I don't know, maybe even if I write something, because I read a lot about poets, how some people will write something against the government, and
libels, slander,
and the rest of the things. How do you know when you are defaming someone? How do you know when you're doing it right and all like that? But then when I kept on at it, and day by day kept striving for better days and all. So it got to a point I had to give myself an introduction when I want to perform on stage.
Where did you get that less of king to the king of kings? Because I'm interested in that part.
Well, that is part of the introduction I'm talking about.
Okay.
So when I want to perform and hear the introduction itself,
you give yourself a brand.
This guy.
Give yourself a brand.
So now, whatever I want to perform, I'm loving what I see when the mirror looks at me. Can you imagine? I see myself as a decoder and God in me as an encoder. So God is talking through me. So there is no fear. See myself as a decoder and God in me as an encoder. I see the wall of life cracking as it is getting older, but yet I stand like a beautiful portraying beauty in the eyes of the other. So if I say my name is Psalmist, I'm the next of kings,
the king of kings.
Why should I be
Awesome, man.
Why should I be
Awesome. I'm feeling goosebumps everywhere.
Can you imagine?
You know, the lines are flowing. So, our listener, you are hearing life wisdom, you know. In my flaws, now he said he found a voice worth hearing. So, let that sink in. That is, don't stop trying. Never stop to be perfect. We not say that you should not be perfect, too. Or always then, every mistake you make is a step to perfection. So, before we wrap up, here's a quick reality check for our listeners. Perfectionism and fear of mistakes aren't just in your head. They are real, measurable. They have a psychological traits, and they are how will I put it now? There are many experts that agree that progress over perfection is the victory. That is, I'm repeating it. Progress over perfection is a victory. So stop letting the fear of a mistake stop you from reaching your goal. So Mr. Psalmist, I would like before I read, also have a poem too. As you give me lamba, I will give you lamba. So do you have a word for our guests before we go? Yeah, it was just a random word before we, like for being a perfect person. Do you have a word for the person?
Well, I'm not perfect.
Okay.
But I would just advise you that whatever you're doing, just keep at it. You practice make perfect, and while you are striving for perfection, look after excellence. When you are excellent in what you're doing,
to speak up for you.
To speak up for you.
Thank you very much for that, sir. So now to my own poem. Now, the perfectionism trap. I tag it the perfectionism trap, the fear of making mistake, written by your own sincerely Olaitan Oluwatomiwa, aka Tomirex. So now I measured twice, they never caught. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? I rewrite lines till midnight gone. Erase, redo, pretend I am strong. I chase a standard carved in air, a flawless self that it isn't there. One misstep and shame comes near. Do it right or disappear. So I rehearse and shrink and stall. Build perfect words that makes me small. I want to try, but not to err. To speak, but only few they care. But in the trap of must it be best, I lose the joy, I lose the rest. Mistakes are monsters, so I freeze. Better not to start than not to please. But oh, perfection is a thief that steals your joy and plants belief. That only flawless earns you grace. That every slip defines your place. So here's the truth. You will fall down, you will mess up, you might look clown, but those who rise are those who try, who paint outside the lines and cry. Perfection lies, but growth is real. You are enough, mistakes and all. Still, you see that I'm making mistake now. I'm not that perfect as Mr. Psalmist, but don't worry, me sef I will be competition for you once in a while. You understand? So the poem is written and spoken to you by your own sincerely Olaitan Oluwatomiwa, and I want to appreciate Mr. Psalmist for taking out of his busy schedule to join us live here on Mapoly Radio 99.7 FM. And you can send your questions to us in case of our next program if you have